Hi guys, in this video we're going to have a look at how we form and then solve equations. So I've got 4 examples of sort of common things that can come up in exams, but hopefully you just take away the actual strategy and the idea behind how to form an equation. So let's get started. Here we have a triangle and I have the 3 angles inside the triangle. The very first part it asked me is to write down an expression for the sum meaning add, of all the angles in the triangle. So I need to write an expression when I add all of these angles up. So the first thing to do is to actually just write it out. So this angle, remember sum means add, so we add this one here, which is 3x plus 30 and then plus 2x, okay? And what it will probably ask for, I haven't written it down here, but what it'll probably ask for is it in its simplest form. So all that means is you just simplify what's here. So we collect like terms. So if you don't know how to collect like terms, check out my video on collecting like terms. In which case we just add all the x's up. So I've got x plus 3x plus 2x. So 1, 3 and 2, which gives me 6x, and then just the number 30. So this is an expression because there's no equal sign. Part 2, by setting up an equation, work out the largest angle. Now to work out the largest angle, I actually need to know what the value of x is. This is where the setting up an equation comes into. So what we need to do first is this here, 6x plus 30 is our first little clue. We know that that is when you add all of the angles up, but it's an expression. We need to form an equation. Now the difference between the two is that an equation has an equal sign. But what does this equal? Well, we should know that angles inside a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So here we have the expression of the angles, and we know the fact that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So I can set them equal to each other, and I've now made an equation. Now we can solve it. So there's 2 ways you can solve it. One of them is using the balance method, the other is using the flowchart. But depending on which way you want to do it, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to use the flowchart just for these examples, but of course if you're doing higher and you do the balance method, you can just use that as well. So let's use the flowchart. So I start off with x, I times by 6, then I add 30, and I get 180. So let's go backwards by minusing 30, divide by 6, and back to x. Okay, so let's do that then. So 180 minus 30 is 150, divided by 6, 25. Now what people do in the exam is they stop there, they've set up an equation, they've worked out x, brilliant, job to good. But make sure you go back and read the question, because the question actually asks us, work out the largest angle. So now you've worked out x, make sure you go back and actually write down what all these angles are. Well, x is 25, so that's easy. That one's just 25. 2 times x, so 2 times 25 gives me 50. And then 3x plus 30, so 3 times x, well, x was 25, plus 30, so make sure you do a bit of bid mass here. 3 times 25 is 75, plus 30, which is 105. And then you can check that your calculation here, your value for x is actually correct, because if you add 105, 50 and 25, it should equal 180. If it doesn't, you've made a mistake. So of course, work out the largest angle. Largest one there out of the 3 is 105. Okay, let's have a look at a different one. So, Steph is P years of age. Her dad is 3 times her age. Her mum is 4 years younger than her dad. Her brother is 6 years older than her. The sum, so again, if I add all their ages up, the sum of their ages is 146. How old are they? Now, there's lots going on here. So what I recommend we do is you draw a little bit of a table. So let's have Steph. let's have dad, let's have mum, and let's have her bro. Okay, her brother. Now Steph has the age of P. Everything's based on P. So we build up our equation, or we start to form our equation based on P. Now her dad is 3 times her age, so 3 times P simplified is 3P. Her mum is 4 years younger than her dad. Well, her dad is 3P, so if mum's 4 years younger, it would be 3P, which is her dad's age, take away 4. And her brother is 6 years older than her. Well, Steph is P, so if her brother's 6 years older, it will be plus 6. Now, the information given to us, it says the sum. So again, when I add all their ages together, I get 146. So if I add all of these together, I should have 146. So here's my equation. Here's the expression for the ages, add them all together, and it equals this. So as soon as you have the equals, you can then start to solve it. But simplify this, just like I did over here. Simplify this. So P plus 3P plus 3P plus P, that gives me 8P. And then I've got a minus 4 plus a 6, which gives me plus 2, and that equals 146. So there we go, there's my equation. You can use it by balance method, solve it via balance method or flowchart. Again, I'm going to use the flowchart. So P times 8, add 2, is 146. Go backwards, 146 minus 2 divided by 8 gets back to P. So 146 take away 2 is 144, divided by 8, which is 18. Which means P is 18, so Steph is actually 18 years old. And don't forget, read the question, how old are they? So we need to work out all their ages. So dad is 3 times her age, so 3 times 18 is 54. Mum is 4 years younger than dad, so she'll be 50. And the brother is 6 years older than Steph, so 18 plus 6 is 24. And again, you can check all those by adding them up and making sure I get to 146. Okay, so there's 2 examples done of forming and solving an equation. Let's have a look at another 2. So this next one here is based on a rectangle, but they could also do something similar with an isosceles triangle. Because in this one, it gives us a shape, well, rectangle, and it gives us some lengths around the side, and it says work out the perimeter, but it doesn't actually tell us what the perimeter is, or the total perimeter is. So how do we form an equation? Well, like I said, it must have an equal sign. So have a little think, if you're in a situation that's different to this, but have a think, what is equal to each other? Well, with a rectangle, these 2 sides are the same, and these 2 sides are the same. So these 2 are equal, and these 2 are equal. And these 2 are the same, so that doesn't help me. But these 2 are different. So if I put 4x plus 1, which is this side, I know it is equal to that side there. And I've formed my equation. So now we need to solve this. You might have noticed there's x's on both sides. So whether you're doing balance method or the flowchart, the first step is the same. We take away we remove the smallest x. In this case, the smallest x is the 2x. So I do the opposite and take away 2x on both sides. So that leaves me with 2x plus 1 on this side and 5 on this side. And again, you can carry on with balance method or you can flowchart it. I'm going to flowchart it. So x times 2 plus 1 gets me 5. 5, go backwards, take away 1, divided by 2 gets me x. So 5 take away 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So x is 2. And again, don't just stop there, because the question says work out the perimeter. So we need to put this value of x back into here. So that's going to be 2. That's going to be 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9. Hopefully this will also be 9. So 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Yep, excellent. So everything went to plan because these two should have been equal. Now you can work out the perimeter. Just add them all up. 2 plus 9 plus 2 plus 9. And we get 22. Now there's no units on this, but if it was to say like centimetres or something like that, obviously this would be 22 centimetres. Okay. So yeah, when dealing with something like this, I say it might be an isosceles triangle, but if you know that two sides are the same, put them equal to each other and then you're away. And the last example. Here we have a equilateral triangle and we have a square, and we're told the perimeter is the same for both the triangle and the square. So the first thing to do is work out the perimeter of each one of these. So because it's an equilateral triangle, all of the sides are going to be the same. And because it's a square, all the sides are going to be the same. Like so. So if I work out the perimeter of the square, 4k plus 4k plus 4k plus 4k will give me 16k. We're told the perimeters are the same, so they are equal to each other. And then I need to work out the perimeter of this. 5k, 5k, 5k is 15k. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So again, I've got x. Oh, sorry. This case I've got k. Sorry, k's on both sides, just like over here. Identify the smaller one. 15k is definitely smaller than 16k. So let's get rid of it by minusing 15k from both sides, which leaves me with k equals 6. Nothing left to do there. Nice, easy solve that one. So k is 6. But again, read the question. It says work out the area of the square. So don't just stop. Let's work out the area. To work out the area of a square, it's just the same as a rectangle and a parallelogram. Base times height. So 4k, so 4 times 6 is 24. And then 4 times 6 again is 24. So to work out the area, I need to do 24 times 24. Now obviously if this was a calculator paper, you could just use a calculator. But let's do it the old-fashioned way, using our grids. It's always good practice to brush up on these skills. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Don't forget your pockets. 6 goes into this pocket. 8 add 1 add 8 is 17. So 7 carry the 1. 0 add 4 add 0 add 1 is 5. And then 0 goes in there. So the final answer, 576. And again, if this was in centimetres, it would be centimetres squared, or it could have been metres or millimetres. Okay. So hopefully that's useful, guys. A few different examples there of how to set up equations and solve them. Cheers for watching. Thanks.